Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy that you're here and you clicked on this YouTube video. This YouTube video is a little different from the YouTube videos that I normally film, like the vlogs and stuff. This video is more of a sit down chit chat, I just want to reflect on 2024 as a whole and just talk about the things that I learned throughout the year and how I've grown as an individually, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, all of the fun jazz. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And here's a puppy coming to join me. Hi, Taupe. Oh, another one's coming. Okay. 2024 was a huge 2024 was a huge year for me. I feel like I learned a lot. That's the dogs in the back making that sound. Anyways, I learned a lot as an individual. This was my first ever year, like going into it having Jesus in my heart and knowing who Jesus is for myself. So I started the year off with a banger. I got baptized on the 29th of March 2024. Honestly, for me, it's always going to be a moment that I look back on because I had the people that I loved there with me. I had my friends, I had my family, and it was honestly like such an amazing moment for me because that was me basically saying, hey, this is it and there's no turning back. And it's so weird because if I look at myself 2 years ago, I didn't even know who Jesus was. Even though I grew up in a Christian household, I didn't know him for myself. It's like I didn't understand what people were talking about whenever they would talk about Jesus and all that stuff. So it's just amazing how much of a 360 I did, No, it's a 360 turnaround, 180. I don't know maths, but you get what I'm saying. And it's just so amazing, like seeing how much the Lord has worked in my life. The things that he has done this year, oh my word, like it's honestly so amazing. And I just want to share like a few things that I learned in my 2024. The first thing that was a big thing for me is that God's timing is always perfect. Like there's no timing that beats God's timing. Like I know that coming into 2024 I had a lot of things like planned for myself. I had a lot of things that I was praying into. I had a lot of things that in a way I sort of expected the Lord to answer, which is, now that I look back at it, is kind of stupid, but there were things that I had expected the Lord to answer this year and stuff like that. And this year I was able to understand that it's always his timing over my timing, and it's always his will over my will. And this year I did have prayers answered, and I still have prayers that aren't answered, but I know that at the right time he will give it to me, or at the right time he will answer that prayer. And he has just answered so many things that I had been praying for, even like the tiny prayers. Like I'd randomly, like, I remember this one time I had a pain in my back and I was going to bed and I was like, Lord, can I just wake up? It had been there for like a good 3 or 4 days, and I was like, I kept pushing it back. And then when I went to bed, I was like, Lord, can I just wake up and this will be gone? I know that you're the God that heals. I don't need to go to any doctor. I'm gonna wake up and this pain will be gone. I literally woke up the next day and the pain was gone. So it's like, it's things like that, like he will answer it at the perfect time. Another thing that was also a big thing for me in 2024 was praying continually. Like pray, never stop praying. Never stop praying and having faith in your prayers, even the tiny little ones. Like that story I just told about my back. Like you could have faith in those tiny little prayers, and it was a huge changing factor for me, because I whenever I prayed, I'd always be like, if it's in your will, God, if you want it to happen. And I came to a point in my life where I realized that in saying that, I'm sort of like doubting who he is and what he can do. So I had to change the way that I pray. And I'd be like, I know that you are God that heals. I know that you're a God that provides. You are a God that is a protector. You are a God that favors me. And I know that you will do it at the right time. Instead of just being like, oh, okay, I'm praying for this, but if it's in your will, let your will be done, Lord, and stuff like, yes, his will be done, but in a way, I wasn't having faith in the fact that he can do it. And so I realized that once I had faith in my prayers, it showed who my confidence was in. And that was in Jesus and in God, and having confidence and having confidence in him and who he says he is. He's the same God that rose a man from the dead today. So it's like nothing literally is impossible with God. And so I've realized that in changing the way that I pray, there's just so much that God can do through the faith that you have in him. Another thing that I learned this year, I learned a lot, but another thing that I learned this year is that we can see so much of God and who he is through us being uncomfortable. Now listen, if you knew me like last year or 2 years ago, I was the type of person that hated public speaking. I hated doing orals. I hated anything that had to have me stand in front of people and talk. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to doing it. I hated it. But this year, the Lord has just used me so much, because I came to a point in my life where I realized that, hey, it's not about my feelings. It's not about, okay, like, it can make me uncomfortable for 10 minutes, but that God can then use that to change somebody else's life. So I had to get to a point in my life where I had to put my feelings and emotions to the side and be like, hey, I can feel these emotions. I can feel this sense of being uncomfortable, but I need to understand that I'm doing it for God and his glory, to shine light on his glory and who he is. It's not about me. And so with like sermons this year, I think I gave 5 sermons in total. I would have listen, if you told me last year that I would have been giving sermons this year, I would have been like, you're bonkers, like you're mad, like what? But I think I gave a total of 5 sermons this year. I did one at a youth conference, and then the rest I think I did at my church, right? And with me, like doing sermons, I got to a point in my life where I was like, when I had to give sermons, at first I doubted myself. Listen, I doubted myself. Because I fit into my feelings. I was like, okay, you're young, older people are not going to listen to you. They're going to be like, who's this girl, blah, 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 blah. And I was feeding into my own feelings, not realizing that it is not about me. God has given me this opportunity because he has something that he wants to speak through me. And it got to a point where I had to realize that the creator of it all, the God that created this heavens and the earth, has chose me to give a sermon. And I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't want to do it because I can't speak in front of people. So I got to a point where I realized that whenever whenever elders at my church like asked me to give a sermon that Sunday, I would be like, okay, God, this is obviously like another opportunity for you to use me as a vessel in your kingdom. Like, that is literally insane. Like, I had to get to a point in my life where I was like, wow, like the creator of it all has picked me. So I just feel like I got to that point in my life where I was like, hey, it's not about how I'm feeling. It's not about the fact that I'm scared or it's going to make me uncomfortable. But it's the fact that God has chosen me as a vessel in his kingdom, and he obviously wants to speak something to his people, and he has picked me as that instrument. And honestly, I look back at it and I'm like, didn't allow if I didn't put my feelings to the side and allow like God to actually take over and speak through me, I don't know how I would have done any of those sermons. Because I remember like majority of the sermons that I give, I know some people don't really, I don't know how other people do it, but a majority of the sermons that I give, it's something that the Lord has spoken to me that week. And so I first go through it. I go through it that week before I like stand in front of people and I actually give the sermon. And one that really stuck to me, two actually that really stuck to me, was the one where I spoke about finding our identity in Jesus as children of God. And I was basically talking about before you do anything, before you walk onto that stage and you're a worshiper, before you're a pastor, before you lead missions at your church, you first need to identify as a child of God. And so I talked about the importance of allowing ourselves to be children of God. And that's one that really stuck with me. And the other one was having faith in our prayers. I know I've already talked about that, but that's also been a huge one for me. And it's just been amazing, like seeing how God has truly, I don't know, like given me the strength to stand in front of people, because I would have never done it. Like I would have never done it. And it's just amazing to see how much of growth that I've had from last year to this year, and just being able to stand in front of people and talking. Another thing that I feel like I am most grateful for this year is my friends and my family. Those people have my heart, and I know that I spent a very long time praying for friendships and just asking God to lead me to the right people. And the way that God has just answered that prayer is honestly insane. Like I have such an amazing group of people that I can call my friends, people that not only are there for the laughs and whatever, but they're also there when I'm going through a hard time, and they guide me in prayer and they lead me to the word. And it's so amazing to see, like I went from someone that didn't really have those type of friendships, and God just really pulled through. Like I would say, like end of last year to this year, like he really has brought amazing people into my life, and people that I know that I'm gonna have for the rest of, people that are gonna be bridesmaids at my wedding, that I am literally like friends with right now. And I couldn't be more grateful, because it's in those people that I get to see the face of Jesus. Like I look at my friends and I'm like, wow, Jesus is shining through that person so much. Like I can see the joy that they carry, and I'm like, this is not worldly joy, this is Jesus joy. And it's so amazing to see, and it's honestly just so amazing to see. I love my friends, I love my family, I love everyone that is in my circle. Like I wouldn't change it for the world. I love each and every one of them, and I thank Jesus every single day for each and every one of them, because they play such a big part in my life. And personally for me, I feel like this year, like relationships within my family, like I never used to be close with my siblings and my cousins, and I feel like this year I really just got much closer to them, and they're literally my best friends. Like I love those people down, like I don't even know. And I thank Jesus all the time for that, because being someone that was in a very, very dark place, like if I'm being completely honest, I hated everyone. I wanted to be alone, didn't really mess with my family like that. Like honestly, my family would bore me. Like if I'm being completely, like last year and the year before that, I didn't want to be around my family. I didn't want to be around friends. Like people would speak and I'd already be annoyed. And just to see that full turnaround it can only be Jesus, guys. It can only be Jesus. It only is him. That's why I've had such, like, I love those people. I love them so much. And coming from a place where I wanted nothing to do with them, and now just being on the other side, like, I would die for those people. Like, if I'm being completely honest, like, I love my friends, I love my family, and honestly, I just thank Jesus all the time for that. Another thing that I learned this year is there's no better place. There is no better place than being at the feet of Jesus and being in his word and meditating on his word. I was someone that struggled a lot with getting into my word and learning about God, because I would see those around me and I'd be like, oh my gosh, they're so much further than me. And in a way, that allowed the enemy to then slip in, and I would then compare myself to them, and it came a thing of, and then reading the word became a thing of doing it as a chore instead of doing it as a choice, you know. And so I'd get into the word just so I can be like, oh no, I did it, you know. And so for me, at first I would say I did read the Bible just to be like, hey, I got it out of the way. That's how I did it. It's taken me a long time. I feel like only in the last 3 months of this year did I actually like lock down my Bible study time, which is insane because I was doing Bible study the wrong way. Having been someone, this year has to be the first year where I've ever in my life picked up the Bible and opened it. And so at first I was reading the Bible, but I wasn't reading to contain and understand and truly meditate what it is that God was trying to teach me. And so I feel like now I finally locked down a routine. I always read with commentary because I can't, not that I can't, but I feel like a commentary just gives a lot more like background context and stuff like that. And so in saying all of that, there has been so much of peace that I have gotten. Like at first, like I'd go days without reading the Bible and be like, hey man, this is what it is. But now it's like, how do I even explain it? It's like there is no better place. Like I could be having such a hard day and realizing that, you know, everything is just against me right now, but I pick up my Bible and I'm at peace, and I'm like, it's okay. Like I allow myself to feel those emotions that I'm like, okay, now we have to carry on with the day, like let's get it going. And I feel like there is no better place. Like there generally is no better place than at the feet of Jesus. Like I don't know how to even elaborate on that. Like sitting at his feet and truly allowing yourself to understand who he is and allowing him into your life, that's when you truly see Jesus for who he says he is. Like he is all of the things that he says he is. He does not lie. He is who he says he is. And so this year that's really helped me, like just getting into my word and sitting at his feet and, you know, worshiping him, praising him has been so beautiful. I feel like I've grown so much spiritually, and in growing so much spiritually, I feel like I've become a better person to others. You know, like I watch the way that I treat others, because I'm constantly asking myself, would Jesus, number one, think the thoughts that you're thinking? Number two, would Jesus act the way that you're acting? Number three, would Jesus speak the way that you're speaking? At first, I used to struggle a lot with differentiating like shows to watch, you know, because it's like there's certain things that go with the Bible, and there's certain things that don't go along with the Bible. And it's shows that we watch on a daily basis. Like, if everybody took time to look at the shows that they're watching, we'd realize that 90% of the shows that we watch are not helping us grow spiritually. And so I came to a point in my life where I'm constantly asking myself, would Jesus hold my hand and sit with me and do what I'm doing right now? Like, if I'm watching a show, I'm like, would Jesus sit next to me and watch the show with me? And most of the time it's a no. Yes, there are slip-ups. Like, honestly, I'll watch a show sometimes because everybody is hyping it up on Instagram and be like, hey, let me see what the show's about. But it's when we then refocus our thoughts and what we consume. When we refocus that, then we realize, hey, like, there's a lot of things that I'm doing that don't really align with his word, and that don't really align with being a child of God. And so that's what I have truly taken from 2024. Like, I've grown so much spiritually and emotionally. I feel like 2024 was a very spiritual and emotional year for me. And as someone that doesn't really share their feelings a lot, like, I found other ways, you know, to let my emotions out, because I know it's not good, like, keeping your emotions in. Like, I am not one, if somebody upsets me, I'm not one to cry. Like, I don't really cry for anything, really. And I've really been praying into that, like, just asking God to allow me to feel, because I feel like my whole life I've just been numb. And, you know, there are moments, like, the only time you find me crying is during worship. And I'm like, oh, I do have tears. But yeah, it's been an amazing year for me. And I can't wait to see what the Lord has in store for me in 2025. I just know that he's going to be doing so much. He's going to do bigger things with me and through me. And I can't wait to see the spiritual growth then. I've already grown so much this year, but I know that there's always room to grow, and there's always room to learn more things, and there's always room, you know, to be a better person. And so that's the mentality that I am going into 2025 with. I just want to be a better person to those around me, be a blessing to those around me, always wanting to lend a helping hand. And ultimately, I just want to be more like Jesus. I want to be selfless, you know, and put others before me. And yeah, I just want to grow my relationship with him even more. And I cannot wait to see where the Lord takes me in 2025. But this is where I'm going to end the video here. Leave down in the comments what your biggest lesson in 2024 was, and I'd really love to see what the Lord has done in your life and how he has moved in your life in 2024. So if you don't mind sharing, you know, go ahead and share. But, you know, thank you for sitting here and listening to me yap for more than like 10 minutes. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.